Welcome to NBA Now by Chat Sports. I am Nic Rohloff. On today's show, we're going to talk about the latest news and rumors in the NBA following the Lauri Markkanen extension. We did not know if Lauri was going to be dealt this offseason or extended, and it is officially now Markkanen staying in the Utah Jazz for at least 1 year. Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN had an initial report, but did have the initial money there is. Shams Charania had the initial news that Lauri would be staying in Utah. But Woj saying that Markkanen has officially signed 5 years, $238 million contract and extension, including $220 million in new money. Agent let him know. But it's fascinating to see the new money thing because he was under contract for $18 million this year, so he probably got more money this upcoming season as well as a massive 5-year extension for the long term. But this is pretty significant, not only for the Utah Jazz as they continue to build their team for the future, but Markkanen stays put for at least 1 year. Why, you might ask? He is now not eligible to be traded for 6 months. Based on where you sign your extension, there's a rule in the NBA that once you sign a new deal, you can't be dealt for 6 months. Well, what lines up with 6 months from August 7th when he signed his extension, or at least did it yesterday? The trade deadline. February 6th is the NBA trade deadline, and if he signed it August 7th, 6 months from now is February 7th, which means he could not be traded before that 2025 NBA trade deadline, which means Markkanen is going to be a Utah Jazz basketball player, at least until the 2025 NBA offseason, which takes him off the table for a trade if the Jazz ever felt like dealing him anyway for the upcoming year. Very fascinating, and we're going to be talking about what that means for the rest of the NBA and specifically the Golden State Warriors here in just a second. But make sure you are subscribed. This is why we will have you covered with every single piece of NBA news, NBA rumors. It does not matter. We have a great team here at Chat Sports. Myself, Nic Rohloff, Patrick Seatman, Marshall Green, Tyler Smith, Jeffrey Cooperstein, Harrison Graham, Chase Sr. It don't matter. We're bringing you everything you need to know around the NBA. Hit that sub button. All right, let's transition to the conversation on Lauri Markkanen to now what it meant for the Golden State Warriors and what it means here for the upcoming couple of months before training camp gets underway in the beginning of October. Because there are reports coming out after the Markkanen extension that the Warriors never offered their 2 young pieces, Jonathan Kuminga and Brandin Podziemski, to Utah for Lauri Markkanen. And to me, my initial reaction to that is what a joke. Were the Warriors ever serious about acquiring the services of Lauri Markkanen? I'm not saying that if they added Kuminga and Podziemski to the deal that it would have made Utah just say, oh my God, yes, we'll give you Lauri Markkanen. But if you actually tried to tell Steph Curry and the rest of that roster, yeah, we are currently working on a trade to try to get Lauri Markkanen here to be your running mate and your second star in Golden State so you don't waste the final 2 or 3 years of your career not competing for an NBA title, and thank you for your services over the past 14 years, then you can't seriously come back to him after this leaked and say, yeah, we tried. Because you didn't. You didn't offer Kuminga or Brandon Podziemski. Shams Charania actually reported what the alleged final trade offer from Golden State to Utah was. It was Moses Moody, multiple first-round picks and swaps, multiple second-round picks for Lauri Markkanen. And I know some of you might say, well, why would they offer both Podziemski and Kuminga with all that draft capital? Lauri Markkanen is that good. Like, I don't think people understand how good Lauri actually is. He averaged 25 and 23 points per game the last 2 years, respectively. He's a smooth 7-footer that can stroke it from deep, shooting 40% from 3 the past 2 seasons, and was an all-star 2 years ago. Markkanen is that guy, and him working in tandem with Steph Curry would have been absolutely lethal. I would have absolutely had no hesitation trading Podziemski or Jonathan Kuminga for Lauri Markkanen. To me, you are just an unserious team if you're trying to present to the fan base of Golden State, or Steph Curry for that matters. That's like, we're doing everything possible to get Lauri Markkanen in a Warrior uniform to help you compete for an NBA title in a stacked Western Conference. Then you have to offer one of these 2 guys, if not both. Like, they are fine young players. And I have a little bit of a rant to go on here with Podziemski. I think Kuminga's a good young player. I do. He took another leap this past season, averaging 16 points a game, shooting above 50% from the field. He does need to develop more of a jumper because it is a little bit sketchy at times, only shooting 32% from the field, and it limits him Podziemski was good as a rookie after being the 19th overall pick out of Santa Clara. He exceeded my expectations for sure. I didn't love that pick for Golden State in the 2023 NBA draft, but he certainly proved me wrong. But let's be real here, folks. Is Brandin Podziemski someone that you can confidently say after his rookie season he is going to be an NBA All-Star in his future? I can't say that confidently. Is he, at worst, a high-level role player off the bench or a decent starting point guard in the NBA? Sure. But can you confidently look me in the eyes and tell me Brandin Podziemski will be an NBA All-Star in the next 3 or 4 seasons without a doubt? I don't think you can. And if you are answering that the same way that I am, there is no reason why he should not have been in a trade package to get Lauri Markkanen. Because do you not want to get Steph help? Like, Steph Curry's got, 3 years max of being a number one option? And you're just going to waste it away with Curry, Draymond, Buddy Hield? Like, they don't have a lot of pieces over there unless you're assuming that Podziemski, Jonathan Kuminga take massive steps forwards this upcoming year and Andrew Wiggins returns to his old self. Like, this Warriors team is going to be in the same exact spot they were last year, if not worse, with teams like San Antonio getting better. Like, if I'm a Warriors fan, I would be disappointed in the front office not pursuing Markkanen harder. And if I was a Steph Curry person, or if I was Steph Curry just in general, I wouldn't be too happy with the Warriors organization. But let me know, do you agree with me? Would you have offered more if you were Golden State? More meaning Podziemski and Jonathan Kuminga, or at least one of them. If you would have offered more, type Y for yes. If you're fine with what the Warriors end up offering, type N. No. The question that we now ask is, what is next for Golden State? Because I do believe they need to make an upgrade to this roster, because this current roster they have, at best, 8 seed. Like, there is no chance in my mind that the Warriors escape the play-in. The only way the Warriors are not a play-in team is if they miss the play-in altogether, which I do think is a real possibility because of leaps from San Antonio and Memphis coming back after getting Ja Morant back from injury. Like, this Western Conference is very, very deep. And right now, if I had to take a bet on if the Warriors would make the playoffs or miss it, I am absolutely hammering the Warriors to miss the playoffs. Like, I don't understand whatsoever why Golden State is electing to not make a move whatsoever. And that really begs the question, is there another move on the table that Golden State could actually end up making? Well, according to some reports out there from Shams Charania, the Warriors haven't shown any interest in Zach LaVine or Brandon Ingram. And I do understand the Zach LaVine thing to a point because his contract's really bad, and a team like the Warriors that does not have a lot of financial flexibility right now probably can't take on Zach LaVine's contract. And does he even move the needle that much? I'm not sure. Well, Brandon Ingram is someone they should absolutely be interested in. I know that he's looking for a massive payday here, but what's to stop you from trading for Brandon Ingram, seeing how the 1 year plays out, and then making a decision on his future with your team after that? I know it's risky if he ends up leaving and you traded away assets to get him for 1 year of service, but to me, you just simply can't stand pat with the current roster on hand. I don't think it's a team that can compete in the West, and you're just wasting the final couple of years of Steph Curry's ability to be a number one player on a championship team. But apparently maybe Steph Curry and Draymond Green are happy with the roster, and they're content, because Kendra Andrews, who covers the Golden State Warriors, who does a really good job, reported that Steph Curry and Draymond Green are reportedly excited about the moves that Golden State made this summer. And if I am going to be honest, I do like some of the minuscule moves they did make. Like, I was fine letting Klay Thompson walk. I like bringing in Buddy Hield. I like the I'm spacing on the addition of the point guard DeAndre Melton, I believe it was. I like him coming off the bench. But to me, they're still really far away from competing for a championship, and that is not a good look if you're Golden State. All right, we got to talk some Anthony Edwards here on the back half of today's show. But first, we are sponsored by Game Time. And if you want to go to any event in your specific area, whether it be a concert, comedy show, sporting event, there's a lot of sports coming on here. We got football almost back. Baseball is continuing to swing around, and the NBA are just about 2 months ago. Game Time is the place you have to get your tickets. They got flash deals, which allow you to save even more with exclusive in-app deals on select seats ahead of your game and event. They got great seat views. They allow you to get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy. And they got even some ticket coverage. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. I use Game Time on a consistent basis to get my tickets. I live in Dallas, so I go to some Mavericks games at times. I go to some Rangers games. Can't really go to any Cowboys games, which is fine by me. But I do go to a lot of events here, and every time I go one, I always use Game Time. So download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply, but again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS, for $20 off. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Anthony Edwards to the 305 to join the Miami Heat. That's the final topic on today's show because there are reports out there that Anthony Edwards really likes Bam Adebayo, who have played together on Team USA, and they've grown pretty close as it seems, but also with head coach Eric Spoelstra, who is an assistant on that Team USA staff. Well, originally sparked in the NBA rumor mill, if you will, thanks to Bill Simmons, who said this on his podcast. Edwards really loves Bam and Spoelstra and his experience with them. Don't be surprised. ... Story drop. Am I dropping it now? Question mark. Listen, I'm not up here to tell you that Anthony Edwards is going to go to the Miami Heat, nor am I going to say that he's going to request a trade from Minnesota anytime soon because he is under contract until the 2029 offseason, thanks to that massive rookie supermax he signed. But I guess, marriage with the Miami Heat in terms of Anthony Edwards would just be unreal, man. It is the perfect place for him to go play. They accept players with his mindset, his dog mentality, his two-way ability, and it would just be a terrific pairing with him, Bam Adebayo, to be the post-Jimmy Butler-led era. Like, in his career, Anthony Edwards has done nothing short of been spectacular. Coming in as the first overall pick out of Georgia, he averaged 19 points a game, was terrific. But just year after year after year, he has gotten better and better, improving his points per game mark, improving his efficiency from beyond the arc and just in total. In this past season, he was an all-NBA guard that had the Timberwolves a top 3 seed in the Western Conference, and they were in the Western Conference Finals before they came up a little bit short. Anthony Edwards has been terrific over the past couple of years, and he is going to only continue to get better. And honestly, I think he's on the path to become a top 3 face of the league. Like him, Victor Wembanyama could be the two guys alongside Luka Doncic that really are the face of the NBA. More to talk about to finish the conversation, but let me know, will Anthony Edwards request a trade from the Minnesota Timberwolves? I don't think it would come this year, but 2-3 years from now, maybe. We'll talk about it. Type R for request or type S for stay. The only way I do see him requesting a trade is in 2 to 3 years. It's not happening this year. They're going to run it back, better or for worse. I am someone who doesn't like running it back if I'm a team. I always like to try to make adjustments to the roster because if you didn't win the championship, there's obviously no need for you to run it back because there was something holding you back. But think about this. Rudy Gobert getting paid damn near $50 million. He is only getting worse and worse in the NBA. His defense obviously is his calling card, but he gets hunted in the postseason on switches and in drop coverage. And he doesn't give you anything offensively. Karl-Anthony Towns, he's making $50 million a season. Well, guess what? He absolutely shriveled deep into that postseason run. Like, they have a team constructed to beat the Denver Nuggets. And they did their job. They beat the Nuggets in their playoff series in the Western Conference semifinals. But they are not a team, in my eyes, that are going to be able to compete with the Dallas Mavericks, the upcoming San Antonio Spurs, the Oklahoma City Thunder in the long haul here. They are really good at beating the Nuggets. But that might be the only team they have their number on. And if they continue to plateau and they never get back to the Western Conference Finals, or they have to trade away one of Cat and Gobert because they're so far over the cap in the next couple of seasons with Jalen McDaniels' contract coming up and some other big-time players, like Anthony Edwards, I'm not going to be someone surprised if he ends up requesting a trade in 2 to 3 seasons. It's just a matter of where he would go and who has the best assets at that time. But in 2 to 3 years, the entire landscape of the NBA could be wildly different. All right, that's going to do it for this episode of NBA Now by Chat Sports. Welcome in. Appreciate you guys watching, hanging out with us. If you're still here and watching after this long video, you clearly like what we're doing, so make sure you are subscribed because we are bringing you content on a weekly basis around the NBA. No one does it better than us, so hit that button and join us for the future.